Hey, I am a Revision Geek and I want you to come and join my Revision Geek world. Welcome to the Diaries of a Revision Geek. I cannot wait for you to watch these interviews. They are so super fun. I've got qualified accountants together talking about their revision journeys, the highs, the lows, the struggles, and all the things in between about how other people got their plaque up on the wall and how they got qualified. I've picked qualified accountants in my LinkedIn network on purpose to help and support you guys, to inspire and motivate you if you are on your accounting journey. Feel free to like and subscribe below for more. Just click on the icons and I will keep you up to date with the Diaries of a Revision Geek. Let's get started. In today's interview, we have Clara. She is AAT and ACCA qualified. In Clara's journey, we talk about how she was on a mission to qualify, what she did when she didn't think she was capable of achieving that mission. And we talk about her confidence and her confidence level. She gives us a lovely, beautiful, little cute confidence trick in there. So watch out for that too. Enjoy the Revision Geek interview. Let me know what you think. Hi, Clara. Welcome to Interviews of a Revision Geek. It's great to have you.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited about this interview series. I just think, if I had had some support like this, just listening to other people's stories and journeys, I would have just known that I wasn't so alone. So thank you for being here as my qualified accountant. And let's start. Let's crack straight on. So if you want to introduce yourself, let me know.
Yeah, so my name's Clara. I've just qualified in July with ACCA, and I am the assistant manager at a firm in Manchester called Accounts and Legal.
Great. So you are ACCA qualified, which is great. And give me a rough time frame. So how long did it take you to qualify from start to finish?
So I started my accountancy journey in August 2015. And I finished in July 2021. So from start to finish, it was 6 years. I did AAT first, which took, I think, about 3.5 years. And then I went straight into ACCA even, that took 2.5 years.
So you did your ACCA in a speedy time frame.
Yeah, I wanted it to get it over and done with as quick as possible. I was like, I'm on a mission, get it done.
Cool. Right, let's get straight into your revision journey and your exam journey then. I'd love to hear, like I said, for all of my interviewees on this series, I don't know what their revision journey is like. That's the joy. So I'm hearing it for the first time, just like you guys are as well. So I'm going to ask some juicy questions as we go throughout. But let's start from the very start. What, just talk me through your journey, Clara.
Oh, so like you mentioned before, obviously I got through ACCA really quickly in that 2.5 year period, and it was really hard, if I'm honest. Like, there was lots of late nights, lots of stressful, lots of crying, thinking I couldn't do it. But I guess coming from that, there was lots of highs as well. So, when you get them results and that confidence that it gives you, it was really good. But yeah, no, it was really, really hard work to get it done, but I think it's totally been worth it.
And so at the start of your journey, so are you if you passed your exams first time?
Yeah, I passed all my exams first time, thankfully. I didn't think I would, but I managed it.
And what was your, that's excellent, by the way, well done. You should absolutely shout about first time passes. I spoke to one of my students last week. He was like, no, I don't really tell anyone. I was like, you have to tell people you got first time passes, right? It's important. It's not the most important thing in the world, but it's just the cherry on the cake. And if you've got it, then please shout about it.
Yeah, no, I think when I started my journey, I didn't think I'd be capable of it, and I will hands up say that, I was like, no way, no expectations to do it. I think as I went into my journey and I realized I could do this, it got to the point where I guess passing probably wasn't enough for me anymore. I was so determined. I was like, I don't want to just pass anymore. I want to pass all of them first time. Probably put a bit too much pressure on myself looking back, because they are hard enough without adding additional stress.
So talk me through some of those low periods that you had, if you don't mind. Obviously, as much detail as you feel comfortable with, but you know, when you were crying and when you were struggling, what was that? What was that because of?
One of the moments that probably, well, there's two really that stick with me more than anything. I sat 2 exams together pretty much the entire of my journey. So every 6 months I'd sit 2. And the first 2 that I ever sat, it was the Saturday night before my exams. I think I was sitting on like a Thursday or a Friday. I'd been studying all day and it was like 10 o'clock at night. And I think I'd just got like a couple of questions wrong. And that was it. Like, I'm crying my eyes out and just that overwhelmingness. And it, like, you look back and you laugh because you're like, it's a couple of questions. Like, I was probably exhausted. But I think, yeah, that was hard. And then another time that really got to me, it was my finals, my final 2 exams. And I was doing SBR and advanced audit, and I'd focused so much on SBR, but I hadn't paid half enough attention to audit that I needed to. And I remember like the week before, I was like, I'm dropping out, like I'm not sitting that exam, I'm not sitting it and failing. And I was like crying, and I tried to ring ACCA. Again, it was a weekend, so thankfully ACCA didn't pick up. And I did sit it, and I did pass. So I think I just got myself like really worked up for a lot, because so much pressure. And there's so much in these exams to get through. But yeah, no, let it all out when it gets too much. Tears are flooding.
Definitely the week before the exam was a high stress period for you, right?
Yeah, so I used to book the entire week off work. I'd use like all my annual leave to take time off before exams, because working on exams that close together was just too much for me. So yeah, it would be intense studying as much as I could, like 12-hour days, head in a book, no rest. And
is that because, and it was just more of a week, the high stress level was for a week, but how long would you have revised for, do you think, for that exam?
So I did all my college courses in class, and I went 1 day a week. So I would be studying for the whole 6 months, 5-6 months before I sat the exam. And I'd do bits here and there in evenings and weekends on the lead up. But I'd probably say that 4 to 6 weeks before the exam, that's when like I would not go out. I would like be right, evenings of study now, weekends. I need to like, you know, put my social life aside to a little point and focus on studies. And they're really hard, and it's really intense to do like that, but that's what worked for me.
Yeah, and I know it's, I mean, my personal opinion, obviously I'm CIMA qualified, but like they're hard. They're so much harder than we thought at the start as well. And juggling a full-time job, I'll talk about your job shortly, but they're just so much harder than we realise, right?
And the content, the books are like this thick, like some of them final ones, and you're just like, how am I going to remember all this? Like, I don't have the brain capacity to do it. But yeah, no, they are incredibly hard. Anyone who does it, like, hands off, it's amazing.
Yeah, we're in a minority club. I do say that, you know, the people who have actually finished and done this, so we're in a minority. But what made you do 2 exams at a time then? You know, you have a choice, obviously, so.
The main factor for me was when it was coming to start ACCA, I had to obviously look at college providers, and for me, I wanted to do classroom. I kind of wanted that discipline of I've got to go there, I've got to study, and the options was really like I could do 1 quarter block release or 2 every 6 months and day release. And for me, it was just that day release was the benefit. It was like, right, because it's going to make me like accountable to myself, being there every single week. I can't leave it to the last minute as such, like, albeit it was intense in the last month, but it kept me going bit by bit by bit, which I would like to think probably reduced a bit of pressure, but maybe not, we'll never know.
It definitely reduced the time frame from start to finish, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And one thing, without obviously, like, we're going to talk about confidence in a little bit, but like when you were sitting your exams, obviously in that week, did you feel like you were passing it at that level? You obviously you had your first time passes, and I want us to talk about that because it's good. But did you know while you were writing it that you were like, yeah, I get this and I've passed this?
It was definitely, I think, some exams. I did a tax exam. I scored really well. I got 82 in it. And when I came out of that exam, I was like, that was all right.
Yeah, just a
I
bit.
was like, yeah, that was all right. I think I've got enough, because you don't know in that exam, I don't think. And then there's been other exams where I came out and I was like, it's awful. I failed, like there's no way. And then I've somehow magically passed and got a really good mark as well. And I think you just don't know half the time. All you can do is try and just keep going and don't give up halfway through, really. But yeah, no, I don't think you can really say most of the time.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because it's so true as well. Like, it's easy for us in hindsight to look back, but you don't know. The only thing to do is keep going. Like I say that all the time, like, please answer 100% of the exam. Like, even if you think you don't know, write an answer, you know, don't give up halfway through, or don't slow down, like keep going until, you know, you're not till the computer screen goes, kind of thing. And it does make a difference, right? You know, I'm not sure if you got 50 or 51 for some of your exams, but can you imagine if you didn't keep going till the end?
But this is it. My lowest scoring, I think, was like 52. So it was really up there with like the marginal marks. I just scraped through one or two of them. But my technique was always, if I can't determine what I think the examiner's asking me, if I think it is a bit blurry, tell them the rule, tell them what I think it should be if it's this, tell them what I think it should be with that, apply it to the situation. And then if I've got it wrong, hopefully they'll know that I knew something enough. And if I am on that 49 or 50, hopefully they'll just tip me over. But yeah, I think all you can do is like just try and, like you say, put something down, at least show them that you know something, really.
Yeah, I would say though, obviously it's easy for me to coach. I've coached hundreds of students, but the fact that you applied it to the situation is why you tipped over, is why they probably gave you an extra half or a mark. Applying to the situation is what you're tested on, guys, especially at professional level of ACCA. So there's some more coaching exam technique coming out today, but yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's right. Like, if you can say, I think it's this because the situation says this, this, and this, like, I'm sure an examiner's got to be like, oh yeah, we know that they're almost there at least. I hope. The examiners will be laughing at me now, telling me I'm wrong.
No, but it's the applications proving certain exam skills that they're asking you to prove, for sure. So let's talk about your confidence then. I don't know what this answer is going to be, but I'm really intrigued. So obviously you did your AAT as well. So you're welcome to talk me through your AAT as well for your confidence journey, because I'm sure it played a part, but that's just me assuming. So, but are you a confident person? What makes you feel confident?
So I got through AAT quite easily. Don't get me wrong, it's difficult, but compared to chartered, like when I look back now, I got through quite easily. And I would say day to day, I'm quite a confident person, but especially in these exams, I lacked a lot of self-confidence and self-belief. And you know, this is like I say, like before my finals, I'm now ready to quit the week before my exam, saying I can't do it, and I could, and I did. But yeah, you're totally right. Like confidence, you've got to believe in yourself, because you've just got to get through. Yeah.
I say that all the time. I ask my one-to-one students and clients, like, do you believe you're going to pass your exam? Because if you don't, then you won't pass. Okay.
Yeah. I agree with that completely. The other thing that I always found was really good for confidence on the morning of the exam is get up a little bit earlier and like take time getting ready, make yourself feel good, make yourself feel like you look good. And I always felt like that gave me more confidence. If I walked into that exam hall like, I'm feeling good today, I felt like I performed better. And I know it's like it's a really little thing, but I felt like it made such a difference to feel good. I performed good.
Yeah. No, it is a small tweak, but sometimes it is about the small tweaks, right? Especially on exam day. The fact that you woke up early, you were also not rushing as well. The fact that you looked good. Everyone feels better when they look good. Like, I feel like it should be mandatory for people to wear matching underwear, because that's how good it makes you feel, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of like, you know, your granny knickers and your socks with holes in and stuff. Even if you're a guy, you wear socks don't wear socks with holes in, right? And one of my one-to-one clients, she gets her results on Monday, so she might be qualified on Monday, but so it's exciting. But she's worn the same clothes, because the first time she passed with me, she wore those clothes, so she's just been repeating, and it's just that it's a small tweak that just works, for sure.
Really, really, really does. Like I preach by that every single exam. Just spend that extra time in the morning. Feel good, do good.
So also, like, so your confidence the week before, I know it's an easy, I hate the word easy, but it's just really a natural thing for the week before an exam for majority of any person doing an exam to feel a bit like, oh, I can't do it. But what was there anything, do you think, that you said to yourself or did to actually raise yourself up and to believe and to take any action or thoughts?
I think probably the thing that got me through was talking to like family and friends and saying like, I don't feel like I can do this, I'm feeling overwhelmed, and just having someone sitting there and saying, but why? You can, you've put all this work in, you've put all this time in, you've done so well so far, and just having someone there to say, come on, snap out of it, keep going, like. And I really leaned on family and friends and even colleagues. You know, my colleagues were great getting me through my exams. But yeah, just having like that, if you can, obviously, if it's possible, to have that support network around you and to say like, I'm struggling, please just help me take a break and then help me get back to it or something. But I found they really helped me with confidence, you know, knowing that they believed in me, that it was just me that needed to get out of it in my head.
That's good. But there's always people though, like mental health and mindset is so important, so much more than we realize. But there's absolutely people, I don't want to sound cheesy, but yes, I'm a coach for a reason, you know, and can help you if you're struggling, or if you don't believe you can pass your exam. There's confidence tricks, tactics, exam techniques, confidence techniques that I've got in my toolkit. I can just reach out and let me ask, you know. I want you to pass. Like, this is the thing, this is one of the reasons why the interview series has come about, because I want you to listen to more qualified accountants and inspire and be motivated and know that you can get your version of this plaque, guys. It's really important. And there is absolutely people, even if your friends and family are not supportive as Clara's, like I could tell you some bad stories about mine. They're like, Helen, you're such a good an accountant, you're so good at work, you're doing really well at work, why are you failing your exams? I'm like, I don't know, don't tell me that kind of vibes, you know. But there's, even if some of your circle are not supportive, trust me, there's other supportive circles out there for sure. I've got a revision club, so just come and join my revision club, because we're all in there. They're all resitters in there, guys, so they're not anymore, they're passing your first time now, but it's a journey, right?
Yeah. I think you're totally right though. Like, if you haven't got people around you, like LinkedIn is a great platform, and we connected on LinkedIn, and I think there's loads of great tutors and coaches and people that are prepared to just sit and help. And like you say yourself, obviously you've got all these confidence tips and tricks that you can help people with, so use them. If people are offering it, like, make sure you use it.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I do work with a lot of resitters, so obviously Clara hasn't been in my coaching world, but there's a different level of confidence that you do need as a resitter, you know. So tell me a little bit about when you were working. Obviously you're working during your study, how supportive was your employer, and how much did they help and support you through your journey?
Yeah, so where I worked when I was doing my exams, they were great, to be honest, like they were amazing. Like I mentioned earlier, I booked the entire week. I used my annual leave to book off before my exams, and they always knew that was coming, because like I spoke to them and they were like, yeah, let's move your workload around, let's get things done earlier, let's push things back, because obviously it works both ways. I think if you can get an employer who understands, like, they want you to do good at work, and you can't do good at work if you're up till midnight studying, like, you just can't. And they were great as well, you know. If I went in with questions or something, they'd like spend some spare time and stuff just to answer, which, to be honest, it was amazing, like, because they're qualified accountants, so I went on them as well. I went on everyone who'd give me 5 minutes at the time.
That helped. That definitely helps, being surrounded by that energy and support and the qualified accountants, so that you know you can go to them for sure. I know not everyone is in the same situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so one question I'm asking everybody, because I really just want to know the answer, because I just think I could talk about the opportunities that I've had, the amazing ones, but I'm interested in everyone else's. So first question is, what opportunities did you think you would get before you were qualified?
think when I started ACCA, I wasn't really too aware of what I could get out of it, apart from, I think obviously a lot of people's motivation is a pay rise. Normally you get quite a nice big one. But I think there's so many opportunities in accounting, in finance, in business, like it can literally take you anywhere. Yeah, gosh, there's loads. For myself, like the classic route is making your way up, manager, partner, director of a firm, maybe even one day having your own firm, hopping into industry, being a finance director there, or even like swapping to something completely different in finance. I think the fact that you have got that qualification and you can show like, I can learn and I know things and I'm prepared to like work towards something. I think a lot of people appreciate that. So I think it does open a lot of doors.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember just couldn't wait to be a finance director. Yeah, that was like career promotion was a huge thing for me, as well as a massive pay rise. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that was definitely my biggest incentive when I was starting out on pretty much minimum wage.
And I just remember, obviously, it's always what you see and think, right? But I just thought like there were so many managing directors of companies that actually were finance directors or qualified accountants, and they were the manager. So even if I didn't follow the finance route, I mean, I followed a business studies route at uni, so I loved the commercial aspect, and I just thought I can at least just have my finance core and do anything with that.
Yeah, I think it's like you say, if you are a managing director, it's a great skill to have for your own business. You know, you can read a balance sheet or something and you know what it means and you can understand how your business is running and stuff. So I definitely think you're right there, yeah, for sure.
And then the second question is, what has actually come so far? What rewards and opportunities have you got now you're qualified?
Yes, so I had a bit of a big change once I qualified. So I'm from a place called Stoke-on-Trent. It's a city, it's nothing too big or fancy, it's home. And I moved to Manchester and I got a new job in the city. And yeah, so I moved to a big city where there's more opportunities, more progression, there's more different ways for me to go. I've had more exposure to different sorts of clients. And for me, it is just working through that route of going through the progression route of my next goal really hopefully is to become like a client manager.
It's exciting. Lots of things coming up.
Hopefully.
And obviously you're just quite qualified, I'm assuming. When did you officially get your letters and your plaque? After July?
So I had my exam results in the July, so I think that was the date that I applied for membership, and I think it was granted at the end of August. The employer I was with was an approved employer, so they just had to like sign work experience off, and it was straight through pretty much. It was really good.
So you're definitely in your first year of being qualified.
Yeah, about 6 months, a bit less.
Yeah, and I just feel like the first year is a certain level, and then you can absolutely jump, not just step, but proper jump for sure.
I hope so. But yeah, no, just making my way through now, seeing it a bit different now as a qualified accountant. I have to keep telling myself, I'm like, no, I can do this. I'm a qualified accountant now. I can figure this out myself.
Yeah, you're going to have qualifying accountants asking you like you did.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to help at any time. I utilise other people, so I'm always happy to help others.
Okay, and now final question. I love this question. I can't wait for your answer. But I give a lot of revision tips for my audience, so I'm asking everybody this question as well. So what's your number one tip for qualifying accountants listening?
I always said, if I don't believe in myself, how can I expect the examiner to believe in me? So just make sure you believe you can do it, and make sure you tell the examiner that you do it, like you can do this and you deserve it. And yeah, that's always my tip. If you don't believe in yourself, how can the examiner believe in you?
And I'm going to go one step further then. Obviously, you're the person who did that. Is there any how advice you can give for the people who don't quite have the level of confidence? And I say that politely, but you know, any hows? Is it
I think it's more just taking a step back and looking at what you've done, and like you've dedicated all these hours. Like, I think a lot of people know it, and like you spent so many hours revising and you do know what you're doing, and it's just get out of like that headspace. I guess it is easier to say than it is, but you've just got to take a step back, breathe, and just, you can do it. Everyone can do it. It's within reach.
Good. Thank you so much, Clara. It's been so good. I've loved learning about your revision journey. Aren't we just a bit jealous, the people who failed? Are like, oh, damn it, we didn't get first-time passes, but we've still got our plaques. We're still in the same place now, right? We're qualified and jumping with opportunities for sure. So thank you so much for being here, Clara.
Thank you for inviting me. I've loved it.
I can't wait for this series. This is so exciting. So thank you for coming, Clara, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks.